What is up, everybody? It is me, your boy TPT, coming at you not live and not from Twitch TV. Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. So before we get into this video, obviously we do just have to give our typical shoutouts both to the EU4 Casuals Discord and the EU4 Australia Discord. Be sure to check them out, both very cool places, lots of cool people. And, as long as you stick away from the politics channel, you'll be all fine. Now, today's video, we are going to be doing religion. So, this is probably going to be a two-part one. First of all, we'll probably be covering the main ones here, and then afterwards we'll probably cover all of the ones outside. So, if you don't know, EU4 religion is split up somewhat similarly to, your normal religions. You've got your, you got your Catholics, you got your Anglicans, your Hussites, and all of that fancy jazz. Now, unfortunately, I will say, we'll have to cover it in a second, but I do have to say something about the Hussites. Because remember, I don't have the Emperor DLC, unfortunately, so I can't give specifics on them. However, I'll be able to compare them to the non-Hussites, because I did try. We flip on over to Austria. We try and release what do you call it? Like Moravia. If I go over here and do it, and if we peep over here, boom. See. I get this, but it doesn't show you the unique bonuses that they get, unfortunately. So, we'll have to cover that maybe some other time, because unfortunately, again, I don't have access to it. But anyway, I think we'll just jump into it for now. So, yeah, I will have to say I can't quite do everything because of the fact that I don't have the DLC, but I can give you a general idea about how it works. First of all, we have Catholic, which is obviously one of the biggest starting religions in the game. Now, with the Catholics, you get access to what's called the Holy See, and this is essentially the control and influence over the papacy. Because if you don't know, back in these days, Pope was he was normally controlled by particular countries. He wasn't very independent per se. He was normally particularly loyal to whatever country he originated from, and so every month, as a Catholic, you gain a particular amount of papal influence. And you can spend this influence on different bonuses that lasts, so long as you are at peace with the papal states. Now, with the Emperor DLC, there is also an additional two other components. One is where every time you get a new pope elected, you get access to the papal bull, which is essentially a modifier for every Catholic country for the duration of that pope's life. The other one is, I can't remember the exact word of it, but basically it controls how you deal with the Reformation. And you can pick a side about if you want to sort of say I guess we can let him live, or burn all the heretics, suffer not the heretic live, they must die in a holy fire. So there is a couple bonuses you get in the Catholic, which is only exclusively available to the Emperor DLC, unfortunately. But yeah, as I said, I don't have that one right now, so really, unfortunately, I can't show you what it does. So we'll just move on to the next one, which is whoops, forgot to tag England. Protestantism. Now, Protestantism is probably one of the better religions because, well, first of all, you got the tax and the improved relations, and because you don't get papal influence, the developers decide to give you a little something instead, which is these church modifiers. So you've got a bunch of different modifiers. You can pick up to 3 of these at any one time. You gain church power based upon the monarch points of your leader. So times this by 0.1. sorry, times it by 0.1 and then modify it by your religious unity, as you can see. And when you get 100, you can choose one of these three aspects of faith. One of these aspects of faith, and you can get a total of 3 of those aspects of faith. And they can be pretty nice, like 2.5% discipline, 5% morale of armies, 10% manpower recovery, national unrest. There's definitely some nice ones in there. My personal favorite is probably the discipline, but there is quite a number of good bonuses in there as well, like the morale. So, then we have our third religion, which we can see over in the Netherlands. And so these guys, they get +1 possible tolerance, +2 tolerance of heretics, which is actually very nice, as you can see here. It means that, even these provinces actually have -3 tolerance, despite the fact that they're not of our true faith, which is very nice indeed. It does make it a lot nicer to expand in Europe into heretics. In addition to that, you get monthly fervor, which you gain from things such as stability, religious unity, prestige, legitimacy, all of that sort of... Actually, I don't think legitimacy affects it, but sorry, but all that fancy stuff. And you can choose to spend 5 points of fervor on one of these 3 bonuses. You've got -2 national unrest, +1 diplomatic reputation. You got +10% morale of armies and +10% morale of navies, and you got +10% trade efficiency and +10% global trade power. So basically, you've got money, morale, and assaulted bonuses. So this is honestly, it's probably better than Catholic, but I'm honestly not a big fan of the Reformed religion. I think it's probably, it's like a mid-tier. It's like a mid-tier religion. It's not that good, but it's not horrible. There's definitely worse religions out there in the context of EU4, people. Come on. And then we've got Hussite. So, like I said, the Hussites get the +2% mystery strength versus heretics and -5% shock damage received. However, if you have the Emperor DLC, they'll also gain a set of aspects of faith, similar to that of Protestant. Like, it works the same way, but there's different aspects of faith, and there's some very powerful ones at that. But essentially it is kind of a copy paste of Protestant, just with different, different modifiers. So next we have got Orthodox. So Orthodox is one of the strongest religions in the game. I would say most people agree that it's probably one of the strongest religions in the game. So you got a couple bonuses with Orthodox. First of all, you got your stability cost and your tolerance of the true faith, which isn't too bad. It's not wonderful, but it's not horrible either. Then you've also got your Patriarch Authority. Now, Patriarch Authority essentially represents how much authority the Orthodox Church has over your country, and it is basically purely positive benefits. You normally get a lot of it through events. However, if you have the correct DLC, you can also consecrate a metropolis in a state, which gives a permanent 10% state maintenance for 0.05 monthly devastation and 5% Patriarch Authority. And that gives missionary strength, clergy influence, local unrest, and local manpower. So very nice already. And plus, also in those events, you can either choose to gain Patriarch Authority, or you can lose it and gain big positives. Overall, it's just very nice to get this as high as possible. And alternatively, you can also spend 10 Patriarch Authority to commission a new icon. So these last for, I believe it's 20 years, I want to say. And so let's just test it real quick. So if we just consecrate some metropolises. If I can find one to do it with. There's one. And then we go and flip here. Let's see. Yep, see, 20 years. And you can get manpower recovery and 5% discipline, which is really nice. National unrest -3 and harsh treatment -25%. Also very good for Age of Absolutism, another -25% harsh treatment cost. Super sexy. Construction and dev cost, which is okay. It's alright when you're trying to get the institution, but overall it's probably one of the weaker ones. Improved relations, aggressive expansion impact, also pretty crappy in my opinion. 20% institution embracement cost and 25% institution spread, which is also very nice when you're trying to get your institutions. So some very, very powerful options here. The 5% discipline is probably the best one, particularly the manpower recovery speed when you combine with the fact that you can play as Russia. You know, just look at that manpower, man. It is hot as hell. You know, and I would say, yeah, overall, I would say Orthodox is probably one of, if not like the top, you know, S tier religions in the game right now. It's very good, very strong, very good. The only weaknesses of it really is that it doesn't tend to start off with a lot of like fellow Orthodox countries, so you're normally dealing with heretics and heathens for allies. Alright, next one, we have to take a visit over to Ethiopia. So, Ethiopia is Coptic. So if you don't know, Coptic was Coptic Ethiopian Christianity, or also known as Ethiopian Coptic, or I think it's also called Coptic Orthodox, was essentially a breed of religion which was created when the Ottomans began to take over the North African coast, essentially cutting off communication between the Ethiopians and their brethren in Rome, which in turn caused their religion to essentially branch off into its own unique style of Christianity, as they didn't really come back into contact with the West until many, many, many years later. You know? See? Yeah, and also their like holy city was considered to be like Alexandria instead of Rome as well. Now, because of this, they also have some nice benefits. They're not the greatest, but they're not too shabby. So you get your basic +1 tolerance to the true faith and 10% fort defense. However, you also get access to the Coptic faith patriarchal blessings, in which what you need to do is you need to control these 5 provinces directly, or be controlled by a Coptic nation. So it doesn't have to be you, but it has to be controlled by a Coptic nation, and the province itself also has to be Coptic as well. And in return for this, you can pick these blessings. So we have one holy site right here, Axum. It's controlled by Ethiopia, and it is Coptic. So we can pick up, say, 2.5% discipline. And if we were to control another one of these, you know, and it would be Coptic, then we would be able to pick up, say, core creation costs, or missionary strength, or the 10% manpower recovery speed, or the yearly legitimacy. So it is quite nice overall. Again, it does start in a very weak position, as Ethiopia is essentially the only country that actually starts off Coptic, although you do have Coptic minorities up in the top of the Persian, Iraqi, Turkey sort of region as well. So they're not completely by themselves, but they are the only country that starts as a majority Orthodox, as well as like these people. But you'll eat them very quickly, so it's not even really worth considering. They'll be dead soon. And speaking of countries all by their lonesomes, we have the last one, which is Jewish. So Jewish is literally all it gives is possible advisors +1 and +2 tolerance to the truth faith. Unfortunately, Jewish is really weak in EU4. It is probably one of the worst EU4 religions that is out there. Like, I don't think there's any religion that is quite as weak as it, unfortunately. And normally in the 1444 start, Simeon doesn't even start as a real country. You have to release them out of these 2 provinces. Like, you release them, and then you play as them like that. Like, it's definitely a nice challenge if you're looking for a bit of a harder religion to start off as. And yeah, it's definitely a struggle, but it can be very fun at the same time, because the tolerance for the true faith means that as soon as, like you see right here, as soon as you get your provinces to Jewish, there's basically no chance of them revolting, just because of the fact that you have such a nice high tolerance. The problem is that's the only thing you've got going for you, and you have to get them to Jewish first. And if we look on here, you know, you'll see that pretty much no country starts as Jewish. You know, you've got 2 provinces, and there is also an event in which I believe it's Jelly Bolu flips Jewish as well in the 1444 start. There is an event for it, but it doesn't always happen either. So if you want to play Jewish Ottomans, I think you can, but it's very difficult to get. So we'll cut away here for Anglican because I need to load up the save and convert these guys over. The last Christian religion is Anglican, and this one is exclusive to the British Isles. So Anglican is probably one of my favorite religions to play as because it gives some very sexy bonuses. So you've got your negative 10% dev cost and 50% evenness gain, so directly increasing all of your monarch point efficiency, which is just super sexy. More money, more manpower, more tech, more everything. And you also get the Church of Blah, which essentially gives you church power. Works the same way that Protestant does. You know, it gives you monarch points, times it by 0.1, modifies by religious unity, and so you can spend it to divorce your consort for 100. You can make another consort for 100. You can get some cash. You can get a free mercantilism, or for 200, you can get a free +1 stability. So basically, if you have good old Anglican, you can pretty much constantly sit at +3 stability, which is very sexy. It gives you lots of cash, mercantilism, and, you know, your innovativeness, dev cost. Just a very nice religion overall. It's probably not as OP as Orthodox, but still very, very sexy nonetheless. And I love playing as it because I like playing as England. And now we move on to the Islamic religions. So there are 3 ones for us to talk about. The first one is the main one, which is Sunni. So Sunni gives 100% chance of new air, 10% cavalry to infantry ratio, and it also unlocks the ability to use scholars. So essentially, you'll start off with one of these 4 scholars. Now, we give you merchant, dev cost, aggressive expansion, or admin technology cost. Now, however, while you only start with 1, if you become friends with someone who has one of those other, schools, and you can spend 50 admin points to unlock it for 20 years. So that's pretty nice, you know. I would say it's alright. It's probably not the most worth it, unless it's like a dev cost one, which I have used before, but like 5% admin cost, that's only giving you 30 admin. So if you're spending 50, you want to get at least like 2 admin techs out of it in 20 years. So it can be worth it, but I mean, it's alright. It's not great, but it's alright. However, the other mechanic for Sunni, this is actually for all Islamics, but this one is pretty nice, which is the piety. So piety ranges from -100 to +100, and depending on where you are on the scale, it gives you a varying scaling bonus. So you can get legalism, which is my favorite, or you can get mysticism. So mysticism gives +3% army strength, morale of armies, fort defense. So it's really good if you're playing like a fort defense country, or you need to convert a lot of provinces, or you just like morale. Now, legalism gives 20% tax, 20% manpower, and my favorite, 10% technology cost. So it's really good for, I would say, a lot of countries. Plus, also, you can spend 50 piety or -50 piety to gain a flat modifier of -2 corruption or 25,000 manpower. You need to be at 75, and it costs 50 to use. So if I just show you right here, if we just go piety +100 and I click this button here, all right, so that's the same. You know, we took out, say we debased our currency. I click this button here, it uses 50 piety, and boom, we have no corruption. So we just got a bunch of free money, basically. Pretty neato indeed. Now, the next religion, which we'll say is Persia, is Shia. Now, Shia is probably one of the best Islamic religions in the game. So, first of all, you get +5% morale of armies, 100% chance of new air again. That's just for all Muslim religions. And you get access to the other 3 possible schools. So you've got +1 yearly legitimacy, 10% shock damage received, and +10% shock damage. So some good bonuses there. But on top of that, You also gain access to these bad boys right here, you know, which you can spend 50 mil points to get a Sanctuary Hollywood, which gives you basically a claim on every single heathen or heretic with neighboring provinces. As you can see here, look at all those claims we just got. Beautiful. You can do invite minorities from abroad, which basically gives you one development will be randomly distributed in your capital area, and each province in your capital area will get negative 20% dev costs for the next 5 years. So if you haven't devved up your capital too much, this is a great way of getting the institutions. The last one is Seize Clerical Holdings, which gives you negative 15% construction costs, which is actually surprisingly good as Persia, because you'll be building a lot of manufactories if you are playing it smart. And then the last one is Ibadi. Now, Abadi also gets these bonuses, which are, again, probably one of the best parts about it. And they also can get access to all 7 of these schools. And on top of that, they get plus 10% goods produced modifier, which is very nice, basically. I've said it already, but it's one of the best economic modifiers in the game. Lots of cash. And you know your boy loves his cash. So I would suggest the best religion for Islamic, for the meta at least. Again, keep in mind I'm talking strictly within the reference of EU4. Okay, don't monetize me, YouTube. I'm kidding. I'm not monetized in the first place. So jokes on you, assholes. Yeah. So Shia is definitely probably the best one. However, you got to consider the fact that it does only mainly spawn around Persia. It's a little bit down here, and it's in a bit of a weaker diplomatic situation. Also keep in mind that a lot of these fellas over here are actually also Sunni, and there's one Shia. But Bamana starts off as Sunni, Bengal starts off as Sunni, Jaunpur starts off as Sunni as well, and you've got all the Sunni down here too. So they're spread, they're in more places than you think. And that's why if you want to play Sunni, you don't actually have to play a main Sunni country. One of my favorite countries to play as is Bengal, which starts off as a Sunni country in a Hindu minority place. In fact, I don't think they start off with a single Sunni province, but they get the +3 tolerance of heretics from their tier 1 for an Indian salt, I believe it's called. Either way, won't cover that too much in this, though, because obviously that's going to be in a different video. So, yeah, those are the main religions. Now, this is probably going to be a 3 parts on religion. We'll have one on the ones that we've just done here, which was the Catholics, and Christians, and the Islam. Then we'll have our second part will be on, like Hindu, Confucian, Vajrayana, Tangri, all the non-Islamic and Christian religions, because there is still quite a few of them as well. And then I think the third part will be on how to get each of the religions, because that one will take a bit more work to do. So anyway, guys, really hope you have enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment if you've got any other questions. I would love to answer them. Also, alternatively, if you don't want to use the comments, you can join the Discord in the link down below. You can join my Twitch stream in the link down below. It doesn't even matter if I'm not playing EU4. Feel free to ask a question, and I'll be happy to answer it. But yeah, so if you need any clarification, feel free to use any one of those resources that you have got at your disposal. Like I said, I'll gladly answer any questions you may have. Be sure to check me out on Twitch as well. I stream Monday to Saturday, 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time every single week. So hope to see you guys there, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.